in the mother.
What's the difference between
Me and you.
Me and you.
Shade 405, Sway in the morning, Heather B, a.k.a. Billy Talk.
In the building, it's a feeling, y'all. Catch this feeling I got. Woo.
T Trillion, a.k.a. Tracy G.
That's right. No blessings left behind. Count them up.
Okay, man, the magic man himself, Money Mike Muse.
Yo, what up?
Wow, man, I've since I've come back from Ghana, I've been outside. I've been answering the invites.
Yeah.
You noticed that?
Sway has been RSVPing, y'all.
Been answering
Proud of
the
this
invites.
guy here.
And it's just I'm just so open to just different and new experiences that I can have just simply by being outside. And so our good folks over at Netflix, she always makes sure that I'm at the screenings, and so she sent me an invite to see You People, which is the directorial debut of our good friend who's been here before for a movie. And he's also a writer on it. The one and only Kenya Barris is here.
KB in the building.
Kenya Barris is back. Last time he came, I feel like we did a therapy session on the.
Right.
Kenya was going through something. I don't know, man.
I'm always going through something.
You're going through something.
I live in a burning house.
You live in a burning house.
Yo, and it makes for great films and TV shows.
I feel like you set it aflame on purpose just so you can see how you come out
So
of
you
it.
can write about it?
Nah, man.
Yeah, you don't? No, sometimes I feel like for creative people, a little bit of self-sabotage helps create something, helps you creatively.
Well, then maybe that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I feel like people are always like, you're good at putting out fires. I was like, because I live in a burning house.
Yeah.
It's not a skill you want to easily get.
Yeah, right? Right. Oh, you're doing great in
Thanks,
it.
bro.
And it was interesting because we went to see, Torch and I went and saw the premiere of the film You People, which is now on Netflix. You can watch it right now. Co-written by Jonah Hill, good friend of ours.
Yeah, shout out
We
to
love
to
Jonah.
Jonah, friend of the show, hip-hop head extraordinaire,
Hip-hop head.
sneakerhead.
Is he?
Jonah Hill's a sneakerhead.
Oh, that's dope.
Hard
Okay.
body, sneakerhead. And it stars a lot of great people. Eddie Murphy, the legend, is in this one.
Goodness.
Okay, Julia, you love her.
Julia-Louis-Dreyfus, I was telling the citizens this morning, if you have not watched this phenomenal woman in Seinfeld, I can't even have a conversation with you. Once you do that, then you will understand what I'm talking about. See her in You People.
She's a goat.
She's a goat.
She's a goat, right?
She was in Black Panther, too.
She's had a big.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Big couple months.
Yeah.
She was a Black Panther.
She was in
She was
Black
in Black Panther.
Black
Get out,
Panther.
Sway.
Okay, I was like, what the
You
hell?
know, just black
From
people.
Oakland. I ain't never seen her in Oakland.
Pink Panther.
Oh, okay. All right. Nia Long is lighting up the screen.
Of course.
She should have been in more scenes, in my opinion. David Duchovny is in it. Who else?
Lauren London.
Lauren London.
Sis.
Our sister Lauren
Sis.
London
What up,
delivered.
sis?
She delivered in that.
She over-delivered.
She over-delivered. Mike Epps, Rhea Perlman, who was just on our show a couple of months ago. Deion Cole, Lala Anthony,
Anthony Anderson.
Carisha's a natural. She delivered her lines naturally, and it was just a real interesting topic. Kenya, you surprised me when I saw you in the little private room and that we were in, and I was so happy for you, and you seemed like you was just biting your fingernails about this one. Why?
I think with that cast, it's like you're either gonna do it or you're gonna really not do it. And I feel like it's sometimes hard when they're like, "Here's everything you want, now do it." That way, if you mess it up, you're like, "It's on me."
Okay.
And I feel like that was the scary part.
So did you create that in your own head?
Nah, man.
Like, I think they wanted you to succeed, right?
I mean, yeah, they wanted me to succeed. I feel like I think at every point it was, will this happen? 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 I feel like it was, they supported me in writing big checks and sort of, letting me really do my thing. At the same time, when we got to a point of like when the movie was in the can, it was the way it happens with the studio. It starts being like
the cutting room floor.
Cutting room floor and what we keep, you know what I'm saying, what they like, what I like, how the movie should flow. I feel like I give this agent, Warren Zavala, a lot of credit.
Okay.
He's a white man, but like he was Eddie's agent, but he called and when we were cutting the movie, they wanted all these trims. And he was like, you know what, I think this is something different. He was like, let his voice go and let him do it. And I feel like I really always will appreciate that for him, because sometimes white men have to talk to white men in the code.
The code.
The code.
The wink.
Yeah. But he gave, I think they started seeing it different. And I think one of the big things for me is like, I don't think that there had been, and I can't think of a lot out there, has been any, but like sort of mainstream big comedies like that directed by like a person of color or, people like that. And I feel like we don't get those opportunities. And so because we don't get those opportunities, which is interesting to me because they love Chappelle, they love Kevin Hart, they love Eddie Murphy, they love Chris Rock, they love our comedy.
Yeah.
But we don't get to tell those big comedies to big audiences. And so I think they were used to, we know how this goes. We know how this cut pattern goes. I'm like, that's not how, and I think the reason that I got lucky is because I had been working for so long. I knew what I wanted to do. And so I was willing to fight and say, if it doesn't work, I'll take the L.
You'll take the L.
I'll take the L, but at least I can say I did it the way I wanted to do it.
You ain't taking no L's on this one. This story is about a couple from two different cultures and their families experience culture clashes.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was very timely because of the national discourse that's been happening recently with the Jewish culture, black culture all the time, and then, the divide, the lack of understanding, the nuances that go on between that dynamic. So Jonah Hill plays a character that falls in love with Lauren London's character. Her family is Muslim. His family is Jewish.
It's crazy.
So how much because of that dynamic, like how many eggshells did you have to walk? Because Jewish folks may not want to be presented a certain way, and then you want to make sure that you rep black culture a certain way. Like, was that a tug of war?
Not when we were doing it. I feel like me and Jonah were like, let's really do it and really go there. I think if we had tried to do that movie in the last 3 to 6 months, it wouldn't have got made. I think that we happened to be ahead of the curve, and we didn't know. Just a lucky, prescient way it came out during this conversation. And I think in some aspects, I hope it helps because I feel like we need to have more open conversations and we need to talk about how people really feel, how people really think. I think that's the way things actually get solved.
Did you learn anything about Jewish culture through working with Jonah Hill on this that you didn't know?
Yeah. I feel like I hadn't been like to a synagogue, like that, a high holiday synagogue. I hadn't, I think that Jewish parents and black parents actually share a lot. You know what I'm saying? Where there's a lot of similarities now, like talking loud and, over-loving their sons and Cadillacs and gold, and you know what I'm saying, that type of stuff. But I feel like I hadn't, the religious and cultural parts of it, I didn't really know as much as I thought I did.
Had to be.
Kenya, thanks again for being here. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by the cast. Like we were talking about the cast earlier, and just like personally for you, how do you direct Eddie Murphy? Like, is some people
Carefully.
to me carefully.
It's I was making a joke. Making Eddie laugh is like scoring on Jordan. You know what I'm
got
saying?
it.
There's something just as a writer, comedic writer, when Eddie's looking at your script and he kind of laughs, you're like you just feel like I got one. But he's a master, and he literally. I don't think people know this. Like you see Eddie being funny, but when Eddie steps in front of that camera, it's surgical. Like he knows his line, he knows his changes, he can flow with the best of them. Like I was really blown away. I understood why he gets the money he gets. When you put him on camera, Eddie had a statement, a line. I mean, we were just talking one day. He was like, "Look, man," he was like, "I'm gonna give you 37, 7, and 7. If you can't win with that, then that's on the coach." He was like, "I've been doing this long enough to know you get 2 or 3 months with me, and you can't put the movie together. That's on you." And I was like, it stuck with me because he knows it's LeBron. He knows I'm gonna give you what I can give you. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't, if that don't put you in a position to win the game, then that's on you. And it's really true. He really does. He doesn't do it much. He's he kind of takes some time, but like when he steps to camera, it's something else. And the same thing with JULIA-LOUIS-DREYFUS. Like I feel like it was two ghosts, and David Duchovny is a mega star. He's a mega people. Like people forget he's X-Files. He's Californication. He's all these movies. Nia's an icon. She's been doing this forever. I think the breakout for me.
Sam J.
Sam
Sam
J.
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 That's
You
our
ain't
girl.
ready for it. I was coming
Salute.
around here.
It's-
Yes.
Sam J.
The crazy thing about this is nobody auditioned.
Uh-huh.
Everybody,
wow.
everyone we picked, I just was like, I think I want that person. I think I want this person. And Sam was like, I don't know if I want to, if I can audition. I was like, no, you got it. If you want to come do this with me. You know what I'm saying? I was a fan of hers she was a writer on SNL.
Right.
I love her show. But she just had the way she thinks, the way her mind thinks, the way she approaches stuff. I really feel like people are going to see that character and who she is in a totally different way. And
That's what
Lauren
you
London.
said.
Yeah.
Lauren London,
Yeah.
I will say it again. I think she's the Black Julia Roberts. I feel like you want her to win. She's just.
Yeah.
There's something about stars, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, De Niro, Sandra Bullock. They're kind of the same person in every movie.
Yeah.
A version of it. But that's what a star is. You just like them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I saw with Lauren. Like something about her, you want her to win.
She's comfortable.
Accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's so intentional, and she's been through stuff, and she's like, her journey has changed, and she's become very much so like the person who makes you feel like the things that she takes, she takes them because she feels like she has something to bring to the role. And I feel like
Yes.
she's my sis, and
Amen.
Yes.
I couldn't have got through this without her.
Wow, man. Kenya Barris is here. We're talking about You People. He's the writer and director. It's on Netflix right now. Tracy G.
Yes, I gotta say, Kenny, as soon as I saw that trailer, I was so tickled. I'm having like a stay-at-home date night with my boo, and we're watching it on Netflix.
Okay.
I just need to say that out loud. And so I was
I want you to see it with the audience if you get a chance.
okay.
Seriously, I think watch it with your boo, but I definitely feel like it's one of those movies. Comedy, I think, is meant to be played with audiences. So if you get a chance, it's in theaters for a week.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or you can catch a screening, or I'll send you some. But like, if you get a chance, watch it with some people.
I'll take you up on that because I think you also learn from looking at the different aspects that make folks laugh. All these
No.
different cultural references. Which brings me to, I was very surprised to see a group of people online that saw the trailer and felt like Kenya Barris has a fixation on mixed race storylines.
I do. I really do. No. No, I feel
What's
like
that about?
I feel like it's crazy. I feel like it happened because I did a show about my family that I'm super proud of in Blackish. My wife's biracial. The kids look like my actual kids. But, and I took it. And then there was a spinoff with Yara, who's
Yes, our girl.
amazing,
Dope,
which
yeah.
I'm super proud of that spinoff. There was a spinoff about the mom character's life, you know what I'm saying, which was based around my kid's mom's life and the things that she went through. And then I did a show on Netflix that was still based, like me playing me,
Black as fuck.
with Rashida, who's biracial. That's where it starts. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that's all based on my family. And if you go outside of that, people don't remember like it's Intergalactic, it's Shaft, it's Coming to America, it's The Game, it's Girlfriends, it's Girls Trip, it's I will go head to head. I'll do a versus for who's black. You know what I'm saying? For, like, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like
Well, guess-
who's put up black shit. You know what I'm saying?
You and Spike.
Word.
I'll go against anybody. I really mean that. I really mean that. Like, I feel like my career has been dedicated to us. And I feel like, the people, that's the thing with the internet, they look for like, where's the thing we can talk about and let's make it a thing. And I feel like it never really bothers me until it comes to my kids.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's the only time I really like stepped up because I was like, they were like, well, these aren't real black kids. And I was like, what? Like, my kids are, coming home. They're the flying buttermilk usually at their school, and they come home and they're like, what is nappy, Dad? I want to do this with my hair. Like, why can't I do that? And I feel like they go through things that I feel like black kids go through, and I feel like when I start seeing that, because they actually read Twitter, that's the only time I really want to defend, any of that stuff. But I really do think that, it's everyone has an opinion. Everyone needs to have something to say.
Facts.
Sometime I have moments, and I'm like, let's have these. I want to get into it.
Yeah.
But in general, I think that is, it started from Blackish, and I feel like that's the one thing. I feel like sometimes we are our own alpha predator.
Okay.
We get into stuff, and we are the heart. And I think that's the thing when there's not enough of us telling stories, so one story can't hit everybody. You know what I'm saying? But the way we do that is that we actually celebrate each other so that we make up more of us rise up. So you can have 10 different stories with 10 different points of view. You know, and I feel like I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to not hire Zendaya. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she's the shit. Like, I'm not going to not hire her, but that's what it's sort of, and I'm not going to go and hire Janelle Monáe because she's dark skinned. I feel like, you know, I'm going to get the best person for the job and who I feel like fits the role. And I feel like that is how we should, you know, try to do things. Like, we shouldn't, you know, this isn't improv. Like, you can't call out names and people just do the thing. And I feel like you have to do what you feel is the best way to tell the story. So I take the criticism and I take it, you know, there's been hilarious jokes. I keep saying say biracial in the mirror 3 times. Kenya Barris appears, and
that's your favorite one.
Drake's baby looks like Kenya Barris produced it.
Okay, I see that. Kenya Barris produced her. That's cool.
But I feel like, you know, and there's like ones like Kenya Barris must be stopped.
Really?
People be saying you need healing.
Wow. But I feel like I definitely, like, I think recently I took it and was responding back to people, and it was so funny. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I got a little time today. And it was so funny. Everybody I responded back to was like, oh my God, no. I'm such a fan.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan.
That's what they do.
Like,
They don't really want the smoke.
Single person was like, you know, and it was very interesting. No one really wanted to get into the smoke. Nobody really wanted to get into a conversation about what they were saying. Immediately, it was like, oh, no. Oh my God, you're responding. And I feel like people just want, you know, that's the culture we're in right now.
A hot take.
Just want attention.
They want to just.
That's why you hate Twitter.
I hate Twitter.
Mike Muse hates Twitter.
I say it openly all the time on this platform.
I
I
think
hate
you
Twitter.
should have to register for the internet. I really
think
do.
so.
I think because you can be so digitally brave when you don't have you don't have to stand in your own 10 toes down.
Yeah.
If people don't know Heather beat through the rock, then she might throw 20 rocks. You know what I'm saying? But if they got to be like Heather through the rock, it's like, I don't. So I feel like that. Well, because I do feel like I've been lucky enough to have a career before this, and you know what I'm saying, and hopefully I'll have a career after this.
Yes.
But what if a kid is just coming up? You know what I'm saying? What if a kid is just doing something in there? You know, like that can destroy them. I look at my daughter is, you know, gets in arguments with people online. I'm like, baby, don't do that. Like, I feel like, but for her, one of them is 16, one of them is 21. For them, it's like, that's my dad, and I'm defending this. And I'm like, yo, you're just adding. I think it is looking for, you know, controversy tracks. You know what I'm saying? People just saying I love you doesn't track. You know what I'm saying? But people saying, like, you know, who's snitching? Who's doing this? I don't fuck with this person. That's the clickbait.
Yeah. Well, Ken, let's go here. Let's stay in this space. Then I'm really curious because I hate Twitter, and I think Twitter is dangerous to our democracy. I think it's dangerous to our culture. I think it's dangerous ideology that just goes unchecked, that has no substance whatsoever. People just tweet to retweet. This conversation you mentioned earlier that this movie probably wouldn't have gotten made 2 or 3 months ago due to all the anti-Semitic rhetoric that was happening in our country, to which Twitter was responsible for that to happen, in the way they allowed such individuals to tweet such anti-Semitic rhetoric. But then it was also to this social conversation about Judaism and all the type of things. I don't want to get too deep into that. But you mentioned, I'm just curious then, since this was made beforehand, and just a few moments ago you said you hope that this educates or enlightens or illuminates the conversation. What do you mean by that? Can you expand upon that more? What do you hope that this movie will moderate between a black Muslim and a Jewish American?
I think, one, we're all better together. And I'm not trying to say that on some saccharine, you know, bullshit. I really do feel like, particularly, I don't know about the Nation of Islam, you know what I'm saying, but particularly African Americans and, you know, and the Jewish culture, there'd be no Martin Luther King if it weren't for his Jewish supporters. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was who financed him, put him on those front lines. Civil rights would not have happened if you hadn't had the liberal sort of Jewish supporters. There was a time in this country when we got together and like Barack wouldn't have been in office. You know what I'm saying? The idea of, you know, us getting together and doing things, we are 2 niche groups that when we come together, we're super powerful because they have the financial means and we have the numbers and we have the spirit and the soul. And I feel like I hate when things, you know, happen. And, you know, I think it was close to midterms. I think it was, you know, sorry fodder. It made liberals look weak. It made a lot of black people say, I'm thinking about voting Republican. You know what I'm saying? I think, like, you saw like a huge rise in black conservatism. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we got to just watch, in my personal opinion, we got to watch what the game is. you know, and I feel like, you know, I called when Kyrie was getting the shit. I called my agent. I was like, can we get a line with David Silver? Is that his name? Adam Silver.
Adam Silver, yeah.
And
NBA commissioner.
I was like, because this is feeling like Kunta Kinte Toby.
Yeah.
I was like, it's too much. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I'm not even sure Kyrie watched that documentary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know, like, you know, I might have been some shit his uncle sent, and he sent 10 minutes. Like, people need to hear it. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But he quickly said, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I want to donate. And, you know, he was like, I wasn't trying to fit anyone. And I feel like that's not this. And it was so at the same time as the Kanye thing. I was like, I called and I was like, guys, you understand this is tonnage. I'm in the barbershops and you're turning people against a situation against you in a way that we were allies. And I was like, you know, there's a moment for this. You know what I'm saying? And the whole list came out and this came out. And I'm like, I feel like we need to just like be careful about notice what game we're playing. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it is, you know, I think that Jewish culture has to like embody. I mean, it has to like take ownership. They do run a lot of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? They do have a lot of positions in media. They do have a lot of positions in banking. That's because they good for them, but own it.
They did. A lot of folks have profited off of black culture.
Absolutely, but own it. You know
a lot of privilege.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the same time, to me, if we were canceling Kanye, we should have canceled Kanye. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of opportunities that we could have stepped up and we could have said, well, I don't need to cancel them, but we could have pulled him and be like, we're going to stop supporting you, bro.
I love how you said that because we allowed him to go unchecked. Just as we were talking about Black Twitter, Twitter in general goes unchecked. We allow, as soon as he said slavery was a choice, right?
We should have said, you know what I'm saying, with the George Floyd. I feel
we
like
still went to Sunday
and
service.
bought sneakers.
We still did the
and bought
Yeezys.
sneakers and showed up to the concerts. And I feel like at a certain point, we got to handle our business. You know what I'm saying? They went, and I think that, you know, as in humanity standpoint, they could have checked it for us at that point. But we didn't. We can't just keep looking for other people to defend us. We got to step up and check our own self and be like, at the same time, somebody messed with their crew, they handled their business. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they need to also say, we handled our business because somebody messed with our crew. Don't hide it under anything. I just think there's a lot of conversations that we can have together, just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Just being honest. I feel like, you know, it's nothing wrong to say that a large amount of Jewish, you know, people can have, you know, power in entertainment and banking. That's just facts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that some people say that that's, you know, spurs anti-Semitic thoughts because you're saying this is not, it doesn't if you take ownership to it. And, you know, one of the conversations I had is like, let us help you and you help us. And let's do this. We've done so much in the past together. Let's continue to sort of like make real change. I said, because there's a election coming up and we need each other. You know what I'm saying? Because that election, if we don't get back together, I don't know how we're going to have any change or any real power. I feel like to separate two people who really, when it comes election time, we make big differences. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that this is not by accident.
Mm-hmm. Kenya Barris is here, man.
Nice.
You People was the movie. It's on Netflix on the 27th.
Yes.
Okay, and then in theaters this week. And it really explores the dynamic between a relationship of two different cultures. And then once their families get involved, melee continues to happen. I really enjoyed those dynamics. Like the reason why I asked you that, because I feel like I got a sneak peek inside of Jewish culture.
Me, that's what I wanted it to be. And I wanted them to get a sneak peek inside us.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the idea of a black man now being able to be like, I don't want my daughter to marry. Like, we can say that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like I probably, you know, I remember telling my daughters, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I raised you as princesses. I don't want to give you to the oppressor. And I was like, I want you to be happy. Come home with what you want. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely had those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely and I feel like we're at the place now where we can have those thoughts. And there's a certain entitlement that goes. And I think Eddie does it so well. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's in his own life. He sort of, you know, could sort of channel some of that. And I feel like having those peeks behind the doors and those conversations, those are my favorite conversations. Home talk.
We don't talk enough about that, black men with daughters who feel that way. I got a daughter, and I feel like I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't think other people say that. Like, I kind of want you to be in a community that's like-minded, like-hearted, like-spirited.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you're a Jewish mom's like, I just want you to grow up and marry a nice Jewish girl.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm saying that they want to keep their culture going. You hear people, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to take away your kid's happiness and they find somewhere out to go, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? I love being black. I want you to have black kids. I want you to continue to experience and evolve us as I've given you certain privileges so that you could get with another, person, and you guys can evolve us and build and keep building us up. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's wrong if I start hating on my daughter's happiness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like other cultures are like, I want you to marry
I want you to marry a nice Italian guy.
100%. 100%.
Well, Nikki's on the line from Cali. If her parents said that to her, she didn't take their advice because she's in an interracial relationship. What up, Nikki? How you doing?
What up, Nick?
Hey,
Nikki wants some other
Hey,
flavors.
I'm great. Oh my gosh, Kenya Barris, you are such a gem. I crack up. I love Blackish. Loved your sweatsuits and Black AF. I want more Black AF. Okay, so that question, I love what you just said because that was my question about you raised your daughters as a princess, and here's my thing. Growing up, my mom's Mexican, my dad's black, and I was just raised like, just be happy, whoever makes you happy. However, as an adult woman now, I really do wish at some point my mother had a conversation with me to say, well, do you know, like, basically to break down history, and I needed to hear that when I was younger so I could have it as I was growing up, and I believe that would have shaped some of my choices of the men that I dated. I feel like I wasted my time having dated certain people, whereas I would not have made those choices had I known a little bit more about history. It's no fault of my mother's at all, but I was wondering, should Black and brown parents have those conversations with their Black and brown children? Like, do you know history? Like, I want to teach you history. And do you know if you date the certain people, what might happen or what might be said? And, just like that. And then the choice is yours ultimately. However, I just want to put you up on this game.
Absolutely.
Because this game of life is so real,
And
when it comes to dating. And sometimes, like, if we don't have those conversations, we get older, we make choices, we get in these situations, and then that's when we have to learn. And it's kind of difficult to learn at that later time.
It's too late at that point, yeah. And I feel like Black and brown, it's kind of a pass. We grew up in the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We go through in this country a lot of the same things. I feel like, the conversation of when you, just keeping it real, I think when you start crossing over into, Black and brown going to white, going to, other cultures that don't really share what it's like to be a minority in this country, I do feel like there is you need to make sure that you have that conversation with your kids to say, that's going to be something you guys have to talk about.
That's real. The fine print.
The fine print. And I feel like my favorite thing is when you see when I see my friends who were mixed growing up, you could tell if they had a white mom because their hair would be like, I'm saying? It's like the no line or like the, the recessed ponytail, whatever the case may be. But it was, I think those were the stories we were kind of playing with Bo on Blackish. We, started talking about it and people were like, I hadn't heard that before, but we all knew it and we all talked about it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is what I like doing just with the stuff that we talk about. How do we have a conversation that looks to sort of expand and not ostracize people, but actually let people in by talking to them about what we're talking about, what our conversations are, and hearing their conversations.
I think this movie does that. Nikki, thank you for your call, your transparency.
Wait.
No, that means we got to go, Nikki.
In my heart,
Nikki,
secretly.
let her go.
Diana Ross. You're dating Tracy Ellis Ross. In my heart, secretly.
Sway is?
No, Kenya. I wish.
Yeah, Sway would be in the public, not
Man,
in secret.
please, I'm walking carpets and Tracy Ellis Ross.
You said what?
Tracy Ellis Ross.
I love Tracy. I'm not dating Tracy.
I know, but in my heart you are. You guys are perfect. You're both beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
Trying to be
nice.
matchmaker for Valentine's
She
Day.
wishing a relationship together. Yeah.
Everybody want to see Kenya happy. Hey, Nikki, you a citizen. Thank you. All right.
Sway in the morning.
Thank you, Nikki.
Kenya Barris is here, man. You people, something. We've been talking about this all morning. I appreciate you. You asked me what I thought.
You.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was done well. I was a little.
I'm so scared.
No, don't be scared. This is just the black me. I was hoping that you stayed away from
What's the other
cliches. You know,
I tried to.
Yeah. I could see that you worked to stay away from cliche stereotypes and those sort of things. I wanted the Jewish side to know more about our side.
Yeah,
you know.
I think that. But for me,
That's real.
I only like to talk about what I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm not going to try to assume or be such a researcher when I'm supposed to be a witness.
Okay.
I told the story from what I know and the things that, Jonah gave. And, I try to stay true. I see so many people try to, like, do things. And I'm like, you've never really lived this. Mm-hmm. You're just talking off of, your opinion. So that's, for me, that wasn't the place that I felt like I could tell completely the story from.
Mm-hmm.
Witness.
Great. I think it's going to be a great conversation piece for a long time to come.
I hope so. I told Sway, I was like, I want you to look at this movie like you listen to a Kanye album.
Yeah,
like I was like, I want.
say that shit.
I was like, break it, like destroy it. I was like, I want you to tell me the absolute truth, and I feel like we don't give flowers enough. You know what I'm saying? And I told you last time. I was like, I feel like things that you say you'll catch, and people love the negative shit, whatever. But then when it comes out and it's like what you actually were saying was right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How often is that talked about? You know what I'm saying? And how everybody wants to tell you what you're doing is wrong until it works, and then everybody's like, oh, well.
They ain't got nothing to say.
They have nothing to say.
They don't want to celebrate that. You did an excellent job, man.
Thanks,
and I don't know if you still got those, like whoever did the wardrobe on this set is incredible.
Michelle Cole.
Okay, incredible. Wherever those, I want her to, style me.
She does everything I do.
The music was great. The music supervisor, who was that?
Gabe Hilfer.
Gabe Hilfer,
who's the best in the business.
Yeah,
Nice.
Gabe did his thing.
Bacon, who did Kendrick's album, composed it. And he gave us a different sort of, baseline for what I wanted the music to be. We wanted it to be a love letter to L.A. There's a lot of West Coast.
Heard some MC8 in there. Said some Nipsey.
Some Pac. Some Nipsey. Some, you know what I'm saying? We wanted it to be that in a way that I feel like I hadn't really seen before. And I think it was, for me, a really good preparation for, if I'm going to do this, I'm only going to direct stuff I write. And I want to make sure that, and that's the reason I got into this before, because I've written a lot of movies. And sometimes I'm like, that's not the way I saw the movie. Yeah. But you can't complain because you didn't do it. So I'm like, you know what? Less is more. I'm not going to, I'm not vouching for nobody. I'm like, from now on, it's going to be the stuff I do. Or people that I really trust that put my name, put stuff on. I feel like I really want to make sure, like, at this point, you get an opportunity. Like, I look at Ryan Coogler.
I was going to say Ryan Coogler.
Ryan is on Scorsese level.
Yeah.
Because he, especially with this new movie, he put himself in a situation he hasn't missed. You know what I'm saying? Everything from Fruitvale to Creed to, Black Panther to Judas, which he produced.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he has been, what he does, he takes his time. He's a genius. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I want to hopefully be in that category where I can say, like, the stuff that I've done, I'm standing behind it, whether it works or not, but I'm going to say, like, I'll put myself into it. So I feel like that's what Ryan's the less is more guy, and it shows in his work.
It shows. Kenya Barris, man, I think it shows in your work. I can't wait to see the verses with Spike Lee and Kenya Barris. That would be really interesting. Can't wait to see that one. And I want to say Sam J is a star.
Shout out to Sam J.
She's the thread in the whole movie.
Superstar. You know who else is in there that doesn't? Dion, we had to cut so much. Dion Cole. Had everybody on set every day he came. Julia, Eddie, Herbert was like he's like the dude who comes to the rec run and puts up 100. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's a special guy. But Travis, who plays Young Taco, who plays his stuff, he is another superstar.
Hilarious. And Mike Epps, whenever you get, I love seeing Mike Epps and Eddie Murphy in scenes together.
It was so
That
hilarious.
was
That's
iconic.
delicious.
You're going to
dope.
see that.
Okay.
Kenya, I know you got to go, man, but thank you. We love you, brother. Great job,
Thank you.
all right? All right, every
Thank you,
time.
Kenya.
Every time, man. You people, it's in theaters this week, premiering, and it's on Netflix
Next week. Oh, yes.
in theaters this week.
Mm-hmm.
And
For
then,
1 week.
for 1 week,
Right.
and then on Netflix starting next Friday.
Yes.
You got it. You did it again, bro.
Thanks, man.
Congratulations.